bigcal, and welcome to my world. It is the end of the month, which only means one thing: DIY gaming box time! Yes, so what happens is, at the end of all of these videos, I spin this nice little roulette wheel. Whatever number it lands on correlates with a game console that I own. Then for the next month, using a budget of £25, I have to collect for that system, trying to get a nice mix of quality and quantity. So last month, spun the wheel and it landed on the Super Nintendo, which is one of my favourite consoles, and there are still tons of games that I want for it, and a lot of them are affordable within the budget. So I thought it was going to be an easy month. Boy, was I wrong. See, this here is my Super Nintendo, and it no longer works. Yeah, I was testing games with it, not just for the gaming box but for pickups as well, and I was in the middle of recording footage for a game and boom, lost power to the system. Okay, two things that could have gone wrong with that. One is the fuse in the power adapter. The power adapter also works with the NES, so I got the NES out, plugged that in to test it, turned on, the NES worked just fine. In fact, I continued using that to record game footage for NES games for pickups. So the power adapter was fine. I did change out the fuse just in case, because I don't think I've changed the fuse in the SNES power adapter since I got it, and I've had it with this system for like 12 years now. So I thought I'll give... I keep knocking things over with these videos. That's very bad because that's Mr. Willie, and he must not be knocked over. Never knocked over. Sorry, Mr. Willie. There we go. We'll get you sitting back there at all. No, he doesn't want to go back there. There we go. Okay. So 12 years not changed the fuse. So I changed it just in case. Still nothing. So, people, when I was asking about it, kept telling me about the fuse, and I just assumed they meant in the power adapter, and I'm like, I've already done that, tested it, it's fine. Turns out there is a tiny one on the motherboard in here that is right by, the power adapter and things, and yeah, that can go as well. So I desoldered that one, bought new fuse for that, soldered one back in. It's simple as can be, you can't really go wrong with that as long as you've got the 2 points soldered in place. Still nothing, so I have absolutely no idea what could be wrong with this system, sadly. So, what I did was, and we can bring this up here, not within the budget unfortunately, but I did buy a new Super Nintendo system. Mainly for this video, and just because I still need a Super Nintendo in my collection that works. So I bought a new one. Yay! But what's nice and special about this one is it has a Super CIC chip in there, or whatever, and basically it allows for region switching. It doesn't have one of those fancy switches you sometimes see on systems on the back where you can change NTSC to PAL. Instead, what you have to do is hold in the reset button, and the power light has a different colour depending on what region you got. So you got the normal yellowy light I think for PAL, red for NTSC, and then orange to auto detect whatever cartridge is in the system. And there are also button combinations that you can use on the controller if you want. And for normal resetting of games, you just press the reset button. You have to hold it in to change the region thing. Awesome. Got this. Didn't work. Yeah, plugged it all in, hooked it up, turned it on. Power was quite clearly on. There was a signal going through my RetroTink into my game recorder. TV was just constantly black screen. So messaged the seller that I got it from, and he suggested just cleaning the pin cartridge, the pin connector in there. So I gave that a quick basic clean. Nothing still. So I left it for a few hours before I decided I'm going to have to send it back. So I decided before I try anything like that, take it apart. So I took the top off and gave it a nice deep clean in there with a toothbrush and some isopropyl or something, you know, some like alcohol solution. I've got like 99% alcohol solution for cleaning electronics, so I did that, and it works perfectly now. Fantastic, absolutely love this. So I can now play NTSC-U and NTSC-J games properly with the full screen resolution and at 60 Hz. You can sort of do that with PAL games, but there are very few of them that seem to be optimised for 60 Hz. They're made for 50 Hz. So you run them in 60 Hz mode and they're just too fast. I tested out Super Mario World. Apparently most Nintendo first party games are not optimised. So testing out Super Mario World and he runs far too fast. Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, so I now have that option and it's great. So new SNES. Right, so let's get into the actual games that I bought. So let's open this up and we'll go with the first one. This one cost £12 actually, was the most expensive, and it is Disney's Aladdin. So yeah, the 16-bit era, especially Capcom as well, we're doing some great stuff with Disney licensed games. I'm sure most of you are aware of them. I never played them as a kid, never had them, you know, had different games. So yeah, always heard that the Mega Drive version of this game is better, but I've never played either, so I didn't really know. But yeah, I'm glad to own this. It is a fun 2D platform. Even if the Mega Drive one turns out to actually be better, I don't mind. There are two different versions, so I have the Super Nintendo version right here. I think the sort of the main complaint people have is that in the Mega Drive version he has a sword of a weapon, as a weapon, not as a weapon. Yeah, and in here he throws apples that just stun enemies. And I think there are also some level differences and things like that, but yeah, it's still really cool to own. I'm very happy to finally add that to my collection. And next and lastly, unfortunately, this was a £10 game, bringing my total up to... I keep dropping things again. This time it was the wheel. I'm just going to put that there. Right, yes, this was £10, leaving my total at £22 with £3 left over. The reason I didn't get anything with the £3 is there's nothing to get for £3 on the Super Nintendo. You might be able to get some crappy sports game, but I don't want a crappy sports game. So this one is Cannon Fodder. So me and my brother grew up playing Cannon Fodder on the Amiga 500. Two of our uncles had Amiga 500s, and yeah, Cannon Fodder. I think the War Has Never Been So Fun was the subtitle, but I don't think it came to consoles like that. And basically you control a bunch of soldiers, and it's kind of like pointing and clicking with a mouse. And yes, you can use the Super Nintendo mouse with this. I was very happy to test out my mouse again and play with this, and you basically sort of point where you want your men to go. They'll wander over. That's with the left click, then the right click you hold in and you shoot, and you have to basically do a bunch of missions. It's kind of like, you know, it's a real-time strategy game essentially, except you only ever have soldiers, and you have to battle lots of enemies. You have to blow up buildings and things like that, and there are barrels around that can explode. And every time you lose a soldier, you know, the screen that comes up after you've finished a level, there's a big hill, and there'll be a grave for the soldiers that you lost, and it'll tell you at the end if any survived or died and things, and the ones that keep surviving get promoted and whatnot. And yeah, it's just a really, really fun game. Fun note, when I first played this and tested it out, it was on my original Super Nintendo before it broke. And it was really weird because I would put it in and there were two soldiers on the screen on the first level. One of them was constantly stood still, and one of them would move automatically and just get stuck on some trees. And I could not control them, they would not move. It was very, very, very weird. Not with the controller, not with the mouse. I thought the cartridge was buggered. So I was going to have to get a replacement one for the video. But then once that broke and I got the new Super Nintendo, I thought I'll give it a try anyway. works perfectly on the new Super Nintendo. So clearly there is something wrong with my old Super Nintendo, as well as no power going to it. It was dying before then and not playing the game properly. So yeah, and those are the 2 Super Nintendo games I got for this month, and I'm happy with them. I am. Love Canon Fodder, always a big fan of that. I do have 1 and 2 on the PC through GOG, so that's great. Good old games, that's what GOG is in case you don't know. And Aladdin, never really played through it before, happy to own it. Disney Capcom games, good stuff. So now it's time to spin the Wheel of Doom. Right, so let's clean that up a bit. Put that on there, shift the box over there. Right, let's get the old camera off here. Come on, you stupid camera. There we go. Right, let's see, there we go. We've got the nice wheel, so let's give it a spin. And now we wait. And it has landed on a number. Is that 14? Let me have a look. Yes, that is 14. Which is a Super Nintendo again. So we don't do repeats on here, so let's spin it again until we get a different console. For the love of God, give us a different console. Oh, right. That is 29. Yes, 29. Yep. SNES. There are only 2 listings for SNES, and we've got them both in a row. It's the 3rd time in a row because we got it last month. So let's spin again until we get something that is not the Super bloody Nintendo. 31. Okay, we're going from the SNES to the NES. Okay, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I have a large want list for NES games, so let's just get a bit better light in here. That's better. Yep, love the SNES. I've got a bunch of games already, but I still have a huge want list. Might be able to get 2 games within the budget, maybe, depending on what I buy, or I could, this might be one of those where I just go with 1 game that's a bit pricier, that, you know, sort of the full £25, because there are a bunch of games that I really like that sort of the big hitters for the system that are a bit pricier, so I could get one of those, or I could get 2 cheaper ones. We'll see. So very excited for the NES. I love that system. I love collecting for it. Yeah. So I'm bigcal. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my pickups this month, and let me know if there's anything in particular for the NES that I should pick up next month. So I'll see you again next time.